because the more cars, so people travel by trains. Bien. Oh, and not too long before the landing, there was a train with pigs inside. And then the chief said there was something wrong with the train, or when the train could not leave. And the landing came not long after that, so we inherited all those pigs, which probably would have gone for the German. And we were very, very happy, of course. Voyons. You know, the Americans landed where I was the 15th of August, 1944. That is 2 months after Normandy. And by that time, you know, the Germans were pulling down. Bon, so one time before that, I was on my bicycle. I don't know if I had gone for milk, but there were 2 German, not big boats on the Bay in Cavalier, and the Prince came. Well, usually I think the Americans, were bombing during the day and the British at night. I'm not too sure about that. I think that's the way it was. Well, we make it that way anyway. Because we were bombed anyway. So they came and they bombed those 2 boats which sank. I was on the road between the beach, which was mine, and houses which gardens were mine. So all I did, I got down from my bicycle and I just waited to see what would happen. Well, I'm sure they could see me up there because they were not far up, but I escaped. Then, a few days later, it was on a Sunday, I was on the main square. Some plane came in the middle of the day and came flying very low. There we were afraid. They came to take photographs. Yeah, you know, that's what they were doing. And then on the radio, they would announce, people put tags around the neck of your children. So we figure, something is going to happen because they are giving us all those advice, you know. And that was, well, I guess just a few days. Bon, so 15th of August, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, it's daytime, we hear a big boom, and that was coming from the boat, which was pretty far away. And you know, the landing where I was, no Frenchman was killed, only one died of a heart attack. So the Americans came, but we were very fortunate that the captain above told his troops to surrender. So, but my mother and my grandmother left the house without saying anything to us. They just took off, left the window, door open. So I was with my sister. I said, well, I guess we're going to leave also. We heard some machine guns. But you know, before I left, I put on a light blue short, a white belt, and a red shirt. And guess what I took? A comb. Nothing else, just a comb. Not keys of the house, nothing. And we left. We went on the road into the woods. And I said, oh, there sure are a lot of pine cones coming down. And those pine cones were not. We were being machine gunned. So we lie down in a sort of little holes. And I don't know what, and I told my sister, you know what, I think we should move. And that's a good thing we've moved, because 2 minutes later, the plane came and we were under the trees, and then you cannot tell from where they are coming. That was scary. And they machine gunned right where we had been. So that was really the only time there I was scared. Then when we didn't hear machine guns anymore, we figured, well, why don't we go back to the house? So that's what we did. And after a short time, there was an American soldier, tall, with a rifle, a flag, and he gave me a Marlboro cigarette. Oh, I said, he's an American. I didn't think they would be dressed in that color, you know. I don't know why I expected another color. And he wanted to speak Italian. I said, no, we speak English. So that was the beginning with the Americans. Because of that captain up there, we didn't have all the fightings, so they started coming, and they ate the tomatoes in the garden, the peppers, they emptied the cellar, one American fell asleep on the sofa, and we had very little damage. I think one glass broke, and on the roof, which was tile, just a few tiles were affected. Otherwise, no. The rabbits, no rabbit was killed. See, the cat disappeared, but he came back 3 days later. So, and then the Americans. So, of course, we had no more electricity, no more telephone, no more water. We had a well in the yard, so we went to get the water from the well. I don't remember if we were drinking that water or not. And we could not live on wine, that's for sure. And then they give us their powder eggs. Oh, that was so good. The powder eggs, you know, we had not had eggs for so long. And the chocolate, you know, chocolate bars, corned beef. Oh, I had more corned beef than what else did they give us? Well, that was about all. See, they were eating our tomatoes and we were eating their food. And one time I was down the village, I saw an American, he had a bucket there, and I said, what do you have there? He said, I have chocolate. And I said, where are you going? Well, I'm going to throw that away. I said, throw that away? Oh, no, you must give that. We had not had the chocolate milk in ages. Anything was a delicacy for us. Well, and so then what happened then? To travel, auto stop. That was the only way. We had no more transportation. So we did some stop. The Americans were very happy to have girls, and that was their only mean of transportation if we wanted to go somewhere. So it was almost, you know, like a big party. What else happens there? I see in Saint-Tropez they had the French paratroopers, which came down, and now I oh yeah, I have to say so. I went back to Paris by the end of the year, stay with my father, and for the first time in my life, I was cooking. And I don't even know if I learned how to make coffee. Well, I have to say something funny to show you how number I was. When I came to this country, and I had to clean my kitchen floor, I didn't know how to do it, so I took a measuring cup, I put some water there, I spilled it on the floor, and then I look at it, and I don't know, I said, well, I have to wipe it off, you know. I didn't know how to do anything. I knew how to drive, though. That was the only thing. And I knew how to drive and to speak English. But a lot of things I didn't know, and I never cooked. And I cook a lot now. I love to cook. So there are a lot of things you can learn if you want to. I'm almost finished. Oh, I must say that, you know, the Americans are people who are very well organized. You know, since I've traveled a lot between the two countries and I can see you have borrowed things from us from your travel over there, and we have done the same. like here, you know, in France, the salad comes after the meat and vegetable. For lunch, people may eat a big mixed salad now, which didn't exist after. That comes from you, you know. And you have borrowed other things, like the wine. Now, everywhere I go, the Americans drink wine. You take the plane, they all have their wine. Before, it was a cup of coffee. When my father came to this country, oh, that was quite some time ago, we went to the Maisonette, and he ordered a fish, and there's a cup of coffee. He said, what is this? They are giving me coffee with my fish. The cup of coffee was always on the table. Now it has disappeared, you know. Bon, très bien. So, so I went back to Paris, and so I said the Americans well organized. They figure all those boys, and they have bands. The man I married played for the 7th Transport Air Transport Band, Army Band, and that was an excellent big band. They played everywhere. So the Americans organized at Orlyfield dances for the American soldiers, but they had to have women. So they would have a bus, Place de la Concorde in Paris, that would take us to Orly, and they would make sure when we get back we could catch the last subway. I mean, and we jitterbug like mad. The Americans were terrific dancers. Black or whites, they were, and they were so good that one man could dance with 2 women. And make them turn, and they were, you know, they, as I say, they were very good. We were not married, he was playing, and they were dancing. So we really had great times. Bon, and finally, I married one of them. Bon. Oh, also, the generosity. One American gave me a blanket, and the blanket they had were wool blankets, you know, khaki. Oh, I had it dyed, and then I had a coat made, woolen coat, beautiful. And they gave us gasoline. I mean, that showed the richness of the American army, all the stuff they were giving away. How much gasoline did they give to the French? How many blankets did they give? I don't know. And food also. Now, of course, you know, the French who came back then were poor. They came back from, they had been in the army, or they were prisoners of war. Only the American soldiers had money. So, you know, we went out with them. Eh? Well, so, and I think that's about the end. And one,
where was your father in all this?
Oh, there I was in Paris with him, where he was working. He was traveling. Now, one thing I want.
He was traveling?
Well, yeah, he traveled. Well, in Avignon or in Paris. That's bon. What I want to say for the end is the Americans liberated me, and I shall never forget that. And the French haven't forgotten that. They might not be always very present, but if the Americans had not come, I don't know what would have happened. So thank you, American people, very much.
So why don't we let Madame Renée sit down, and if anyone has any questions, then I can take the microphone to you. Do you want to sit down? Questions for Renée?
Oh.
Thank you for all of those experiences. I mean, we're in the presence of greatness here. We've lived history, so thank you. I wanted to know about the Free French. you know, because we had the Vichy government and then de Gaulle in London, and some Frenchmen didn't regard him as a legal head of the French, but probably toward the end of the war, everyone was, you know, cheering on the Free French. I just wondered if you thought about that. I know you were a teenager and, you know, weren't really involved in the politics of the war.
No. Wow. No, you know, like in Cavalier, they were in the hills. Where our home is on the hill, but they were even hidden. I did not see any. I had a cousin who was one. Then I had some friends, I told you, who left, went through Spain, and then what would happen? The Spanish would arrest them, and they were claimed by the Canadian government, and then the Canadians would take them to Great Britain. And that friend of mine came back from France as an officer in the British Army. And just something he said, after that, the war, they would meet once a month, just a man, and they would say the first 5 minutes, and some people who know me here know about that, first 5 minutes, you can talk about planes and eggs, your children, your grandchildren, that's it. And then I've done that with some of my friends, the first 5 minutes, then after you play. No more pens and eggs.
So she's very good. She does not talk about our aches and pains. All right. Any other questions?
I just want to make a comment to your last comment. My husband and I were in Normandy 2 weeks after 9/11, and there was this beautiful wreath there that said, "You were here for us in '44, we're here for you now." So it works both ways.
But I know they've just had something